episode of Hidden Stories Healed Now, where we provide joy, we provide positive reinforcement, and give you hope. Today's episode, I'm really excited about. I tell you, I've got some great guests through these seasons. But this one is special to me because she's like another daughter. She and my son have been best friends for a long time. It is my honor and pleasure to have with me Cody Cummings. And today we're going to talk about some of the challenges that we deal with postpartum. And I know there's many, many women who go through this. And I'm hoping that by the end of this segment and this show, that it will give you some ideas of things that you can do, but also some ideas for us to help others. So welcome, Cody.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. So why don't you share with our audience a little bit about your story?
Okay. Well, I am a mother and a wife. I have 4 children. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter, and I just recently had twins. They are 12 weeks now, and having twins was a big challenge. Finding out having twins was a big challenge. And coming to find out I'll be having 4 children, and, you know, the road to acceptance with having twins was long. It was hard, but we made it. We were excited. We were ready to go. And then they got here, and the way I had my birth experience wasn't the way I wanted it to be. My baby boy ended up in a NICU. So it was a lot going on, and we ended up, I ended up developing postpartum depression during that time. And it was really rough on our family those first few weeks, but we're on the outside of it now.
So how did you know you were going through postpartum depression? What is it that told you, and had you experienced that with any of your other children?
I did not experience postpartum with my first 2 children, but I kind of thought beforehand it was something I could possibly develop just because of the pressure and the fact that, you know, we're about to welcome twins. It's going to be a lot on our family. You know, our 2 oldest they're crazy. So what are we going to do with 2 new babies? But once the babies got here, like I said, the birth experience was not the way that I wanted it to go. With my son ended up in the NICU. And then once we all got home and got settled, it just became a lot. And I realized that I was developing postpartum when I couldn't move. I was tired all the time. I cried all the time. I didn't want to eat. I just didn't want to do anything but lay there. And, you know, it was hard at night with my babies up crying and my husband sleeping well. So I just knew that this is postpartum depression, and I'm here, I'm in it. And, you know, what am I going to do to get out of it?
So what did you do? What did you start to do when you began to realize I'm having postpartum depression? What steps did you take after you realized that to begin that healing process?
Well, I first really started to, 1, accept it, 2, talk to my husband about it and some of the challenges that I were having. I leaned on my village of friends and family to talk about it. And then I wanted to start the process of getting therapy. I have not yet gotten that process going, but that was the next step that I was going to do. But really leaning on my village was really what helped.
How did your village help you? What did they do?
They were just super supportive, telling me that it was okay. I had a lot of people come over and help me. My mom stayed with us for 3 weeks after I had the baby, so that was really helpful. I had my friends cook for me. People gave me gift cards for food, so I didn't have to think about cooking or anything like that. Just the conversations and the mommy hoodness and everybody just being there and supporting me and giving me all those encouraging words really helped me move forward.
Do you think there's anything else we can do to support a woman that is going through postpartum as she's going through this process?
Yeah, I just think being there, letting her know that it's okay. It's something that everyone could possibly go through. It's nothing wrong with you if you go through it. And just really asking, what can I do to help?
Okay. Was it hard for you to accept that help?
Yes, it's always hard to accept help because I'm one of those people that I could do it, but I realized that I couldn't do it all and I need that help. So it's asking my husband for extra help, asking my friends for extra help. It really did help me.
What made you get to the point that you recognized, okay, I got to have some help here, and I can't be, we strong women, right? And we think, yeah, I can do it all. I can make this happen. It's all about me, and I'm a good mom, and all the rest of that. What made you get to the point that you said, you know what? I need to stop being stubborn. I need to listen. I need to accept help when it's given to me so that people can help me get along as I am going through these challenges.
Well, a lot of my friends kept telling me that you can't pour from an empty cup, and my cup was dry. It was dry. So I realized that, okay, I got to do something or I'm just going to be nothing for everyone. I wasn't anything for my husband. I wasn't anything for my kids. Like, they weren't getting much out of me. So I was like, okay, I know I'm going to have to accept this help. People are just throwing it out at me whenever you need it. So let me go ahead and take that step and ask for that help or receive that help when offered, because it was hard. But once I could just tell that I wasn't much anything for anybody.
And I think that's the hardest thing to realize, is that as you're going through it, it's your body, your emotions, you're the one that's trying to handle it. And people are not inside of your body. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you're feeling because they're not going through it. And so the challenge becomes, when you start to express it and you begin to talk about it, what are the impacts of that? And we're going to take a station break. And when we come back, we'll find out more about that process and moving forward. We'll be right back.
Every story has a hidden element that is not often shared. Hidden Stories, Healed Now, with host Vicki Wright-Hamilton, seeks to share the hidden gems in real-life experiences. Our guests are ordinary people sharing their stories of overcoming insurmountable odds while providing hope and inspiration.
Welcome back. Cody, I want to talk a little bit about what you were saying in the last segment regarding I wasn't expecting twins and the feelings that you went through. Can we talk a little bit about those things that we never say, that we're scared to say out loud? And this is supposed to be a blessing, and whether it was planned for or not planned for, babies are supposed to be a blessing to us. What were the emotions in sequence that you went through?
A lot. There's a lot of emotions. We were not planning, and we were like, okay, third baby, let's go. We got it, and then we got boom. Here, there's 2 heartbeats. There's twins. It was obvious that they were twins. So we both were in the room, and we just were kind of like, what and why? You're not supposed to question God, but I kind of was like, why? Because never in a million years did I think I'll be having 4 kids, especially 2 at a time. So a lot of all the things ran through my mind, like the health risks. Am I going to have a C-section? That was one of my biggest things, because I didn't have for my 2 girls. How are we going to financially support 2 more kids? Is my life over? Like, am I only going to be someone's mom? Is that something that I'm never going to be able to go on girls' trips again? What is it going to be for my husband? Like, we're never going to have date night, because we didn't have like immediate family that lives in town. So my mom doesn't live here. His parents don't live here. So I'm like, we're only going to be surrounded by kids 24/7. Like, what is this going to do? And it took a while for me to really get to that excited point, because I was not excited. I was not happy. And you think so many women would love to be blessed with twins. So that's another, emotion I was going through. Like, why do I feel like this? I should be happy when there are women who are would love to have this experience. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, woe is me. So it was a lot of emotions that I went through to finally kind of pull myself off that couch, because I laid on the couch for a good 3 weeks, just crying to all my friends. And luckily everyone, understood and kind of was like, oh girl, but was very supportive at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we go through this experience and we have these babies. Now let's talk a little bit about the family impacts. and the family challenges. You mentioned before that, your husband being able to sleep next to you. What were you feeling? And why, as you were beginning to look at him, what were the emotions that you were going through that bothered you? So what were those things you were going through at that time?
Well, it's kind of just like you're the mommy. So everyone wants you. And at night, men just sleep, and they can be able to sleep. They don't hear the babies cry, and I'm hearing these babies cry, and there's two of them. There's not just one, there's two of them. And, one's nursing, one needs to be bottle fed. And it's, all the range of emotions that they're sitting here crying, but he's sitting here sleeping very peacefully while I'm up and down and up and down, up and down. So it just really weighs on you. But then I, like I said, started to have those conversations to be like, hey, I need that help. And he was very supportive of getting them, like, okay, what do I need to do? He's like, when the sleep hits me, it just hits me. And, I can't just let the sleep hit me because I got to think about the twins here. And then I got the 3-year-old who comes in the room in the middle of the night, and my 9-year-old who is up and down, up and down. So, everybody wants mommy, and everyone wants to be on mommy. And so mommy doesn't have that time to really just be her.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that now through the conversations you've gotten to the point of support where if you do need to have a day out with the girls for lunch, or you do need to go and do something, do you feel like you can do that now?
Yes. And, I'm very blessed to have my husband to be he's able to go do what you need to do. It's four kids. So I'm like, are you sure? Like, as mommies, we're like, we got it, we can handle it. But I'm like, are you sure you got all 4 of them? Their bottles need to be warm, this, that, and the third. So, it's all those things, the logistics of just being able to go have a drink or go have a girls' night. Is so much logistics that goes into it to make sure I can get out the house. But he's been super supportive on that. He's one that's like, go do what you need to do. I got it. While I'm texting, is everything okay? Did you feed him? So it's like you mentally can never truly check out.
Okay. So we talk about that time where we really never have me time. That self-care of me time, and that time where we can regroup, and the time where we can feel like, I just need a few minutes. I just don't call my name anymore. I don't want to hear mommy. I don't want to hear Cody. I just want peace and quiet, right? And you want that time away. Then when you get it away, it's like, okay, should I be here? Should I not be here? Should I have calm? Should I have not calm? Etc. And there's certain messages that we have to tell ourselves to say, you know what? He's the daddy too. And I got to have some time. I'm going to fall apart. And I need to be able to do that. So the support that he gave you was huge, right? Because he was supportive, wanted to help you get through it, wanted to help you deal with what had to be dealt with, etc. So you're at a standpoint now where you all are trying to support each other of being gone. How did you train him? How did you, let's talk about it. They're not the ones that come out as a maternal instinct, and they don't really know. What did you do to train him to help him get comfortable?
Just the many conversations. And then he always tells me, tell me when I'm doing something wrong. Make sure, it's fine. Like, just give it to me. So I try to make sure that, I have to tell myself he's not me. He's not going to do the things that I'm going to do. So if I leave and they're alive when I come back, we've made it, or they got fed on time, they got their diapers changed on, like he can do it. And I have to keep telling myself that he could do it. It's not going to be the way I do it because I'm mommy and I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it, but he's going to do it his way. And that's one of those things where I have to realize and have to be comfortable with that he's going to do it his way, and it's okay. They're going to be fine.
And I think that's the important concept that we have here. They will never be mommy. They will never birth a child. They will never go through the emotions. They will never do things the way we do it. They can go to parenting class. They can learn the things they're supposed to do. But the realism, oh my God, I now got these 4 kids. I told her to go. What am I doing, right? And so really going through that process and giving yourself permission. I admire the fact that you took the courage to talk to him and have that conversation, as well as to help show him what needed to be done, because after all, he is daddy. We're going to take a station break, and we'll be right back and see if we have a question or comment from the audience.
Every story has a hidden element that is not often shared. Hidden Stories, Healed Now with host Vicki Wright-Hamilton seeks to share the hidden gems in real-life experiences. Our guests are ordinary people sharing their stories of overcoming insurmountable odds while providing hope and inspiration.
Welcome back. You know, it's really hard when you're going through hormonal changes, you're going through emotional changes, and the babies are so young. They're beautiful, by the way. They are some of the most precious babies. I've had the joy and the pleasure of holding both of them and loving them and never wanting to let them go. I remember the first time I had them, she said, "Did you get your fix yet? Did you get your baby fix yet?" I could never get my baby fix enough. They are precious. But when you began to make those decisions about bottle feeding versus breastfeeding and all of that, did you feel any emotional connections to those things as well as it dealt with your postpartum?
Yeah, I definitely knew I wanted to breastfeed my twins, and because I breastfed my first, well, both of them, but I did for my second one for 15 months. But with my son ended up in the NICU, he didn't want to latch anymore once he got home. So that emotional take on, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get this bonding moment with my son. You know, it's my first son because had boy-girl twins. So I have 3 girls and a boy. So I'm like, I wanted that connection. I wanted to nurse him. And I couldn't. I had to bottle feed him, but I pump for him, so he still gets breast milk, so he's still getting breastfed. So I had to be like, Cody, it's okay. He's still getting breastfed. He's getting what he needs. But then you also have to think about the emotional taxing of I'm breastfeeding twins. We can't afford formula. So I got to keep this up. This has got to work because that's just not, it's not going to work with trying to buy formula for 2 babies. So, you know, that emotional taxing on me and that mental burden that I had to feel like, okay, I have to do this in order, you know, to sacrifice for my family. And it's a lot to have to nurse one, pump for the other, and make sure they're getting what they need from me.
You know, financial pressure is a pressure regardless of whether you're having children or not. It's just financials are financials, right? And it's very, very hard when you're going through that, not to mention when you're emotionally, you know, have your hormones out of whack and you're going through all these different feelings, you know, at the same time. So I can only empathize with the fact that I understand from a financial perspective that impact and what that means. And I know what it means that as you want to nurse. I mean, fortunately, I couldn't nurse my babies for one reason or another, and losing that bonding period, I thought I was less than a mom, right? I'm just not going to be a mom. Every mom nurses. What's the problem? And because I couldn't, you know, and having the experience where you nursed before, and now it's like, okay, I have this exception. How am I going to deal with that, you know, and move forward? So, you know, but I congratulate you on realizing that, you know, it's okay to give them a bottle. It doesn't make you any less than a woman. Doesn't make you any less than a mom. You're a great mom.
Thank you.
And providing for your babies that love and that nurturing is what's important. So, you know, I commend you in going through that. You also made a statement that you're looking for some therapy and that you really want to go through the therapy process. And, you know, that's something we don't talk about in our community. Mm-hmm. It's like therapy is taboo. We just don't discuss that. We don't talk about therapy. We don't talk about getting help. And so as you're beginning to embark upon this journey, are you having emotional challenges and feelings about, should I continue to move down this path or should I not?
Yes, of course, because you think, oh, I'm having a good day. I don't need therapy today because I'm having a really good day. It's or I may have a couple of good days, but as the days go on and I'm like, okay, I didn't call, and I'm beating myself up because I'm like, man, I should have called. I need to call, but I have all these things going on, and or I just want to take a nap. So I don't really want to call because I just want to take a nap. But then I beat myself up because I didn't do it. But I do want to continue down that road, and I will make that call and get those services started so I can start to feel back more to me and, be the best wife I could be for my husband, be the best mommy I could be for my children, and just be the best me for myself so I can get back to that person that I was before.
Well, I commend you on that. It takes a lot of courage to be able to say, I need therapy. It takes a lot of courage to be able to say, I'm going to go get the necessary help I need in order to help me to be a better person, because self-care is so important. If you're not good, it doesn't matter, and everybody around you. So I will continue to pray for you in terms of that opportunity to be able to make that happen. But more importantly, and just as importantly, continue to pray for the great mom that you are, and for those emotions to get better and detached so that you can get beyond this point and move forward, because you've always been a happy spirit. You've always been a happy spirit and someone that brought a lot of joy. It will come back. It will come back. It's just about time. So let's see if we have a question from our audience.
Hi, I'm Teresa. I had a question. Have you thought about, or have you been a part of a support group? I know I'm a part of one called Mocha Moms, and I think it would be very helpful for you because you have other mothers that are going through that experience. For real, I had children that were preemies and so forth, and I was stuck in the house, and now I understand that I didn't know what postpartum was then, but I had those people to help me.
Yes, I have not heard of that, and I have my Facebook support groups, but I will definitely look into that, because I think speaking with other moms, especially ones who have gone through the same situations, as well as I've also been able to bond with a lot of twin moms, because it's a different type of momming with two. But yes, I would definitely like the resource for Mocha Moms.
Thanks. And the other thing was, have you heard of Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies? That's how I know about postpartum now. They have free resource, and you said you wanted to take a nap, so they actually have a hotline, so that might be a great option as well.
Awesome. Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you so much for your comment and letting us know about those things that can be done, because, we all need help, right? And all the resources that we can get can help us to progress and to move forward. And we have to continue to be that support. So remember that when you have friends and that are going through these challenging times, that there are things that we can do. But that support of not letting them say no, that support of being able to say, look, I know you don't want no help, girlfriend, but here's a card and this is what you can go do. I know you don't want any help, but the food show up at the door, right? So that there's something to eat. You're not dealing with dinner and those kinds of things. And then the needs of a 9-year-old. You've got a growing, preteen and all the challenges that come with that too, right? Mm-hmm. And needing mom to be right there with her. So, you're juggling a lot, you're doing a lot. And it's those things that we can't remember as your support group and helping you that there is a way forward. So again, congratulations on being such a great mom. You will get through this journey too. And when you do, you're going to look back on it and say, I remember the days. I remember when my brother had twins and we were trying to help him out. My mother and I would split. You take one, I take one. Because I can't do two, right? You take one, I take one, and we'll help and do that support. So there are people out there willing to help. Just know you just have to ask.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us on another episode of Hidden Stories Healed Now, where we bring joy, love, and optimism to be able to show you too can get through your journey. See you on the next episode.